Yat shigedos ne arhada kisigi. Aita the modo din chigone hanayos kas diwe asada ol kildos la dos needed that's it. Haishi hasin kisigi yat hidini lihoro. Thursday, 1 o'clock, 5:30, hada kisigi. Horoyet denebananda Dr. Bu Nygren. Hojit nahot leslan jono horo hanen hitch hanish ito arada da hil sehoda ha shin jono. Asho hanen kitchen bedinach ha askista do no the hada kisigi a cat do yat hidini do ha den shi hada so kiz dengi tadazet honna and hada so kiz tadazenli shlatin ha hotzon bekia sitkenigi bande ha ate ada hada so kiz tadazenli at the nebekea bakadinli at the hat nishem kawanam mazdo ahawade chishin da hakieto are keda hanot enigi ziltaze bigatte da keda hanot enigi asati da sentau da yat kedini da not end the neta no senigi horoshi ha hodoljish the hunde nanigi local announcements. Missing Navajo people reports from the Navajo Police Department this week. From the Chinle Police Department, 45-year-old Terrence Woody was last seen Friday, November 1st in Rock Point, Arizona. He's 5'7", 155 pounds, with brown eyes and black hair. Terrence was last seen wearing a black cardinal sweater, tan and brown vest, blue jeans, and a cap. If you have any information, call Chinle Police Department. Ishihoro, Nkidanet Sensades Ado, Disdi Noba Shlapana Hegum. Li Nde Zede da Hotate del Sand Dal Sound Salaw which the Hotosling Chinle Kin Bilhaz Anigi 928-674-211 Hoto Oshodo Bahita needs in the Leto Bekeshi dan Linigi Arashi Hada or Kisigilo Beshiada at Etolis Arosohoro found Navajo people. Tamisa Homer has been located and she is safe. Dishihoro standing long banahostin do what not zado ayat no hanen kitchen nalia les never Washington salaw because anigi nanigi life lesson. Small steps can become habits. By breaking down a big goal into a manageable task, we can make these steps a part of our lifestyle. These include keeping vegetables in your home, making them more accessible as snacks, or ensuring you take a short walk during break periods. Stick to the things you enjoy doing. De hodo ayo nan tkin bananel khahit oban sa kesigi horoye at iston sa kes hajoba khanyangi anni bi khastit oni yego betsininz do kisodin jono nanesh tketo leston lech yanach ilde shalale nanigi de hodo adon alla da haida ejto lilna nishto haida binjel nisho alti so bena nisho naso kushito mo lehon jono bejele hada the kushin de dozelo da jono ejto lil be hajonat hajoban sa kesto to shiat enden jono tsis ba khayanigi beje to tinlan sa kestan da de tinta alla da ishi is do lilna nish hawanda di da hajo alla bena hoidesh altilo wal yahigi ahot end abetsana ta hastito a koro bena ansto yego edesno bena ansto business tin ho anehi na nish ntsagi asdo lildi da is ba hayaninge nenegi ebenina chas iso da horoshi de ahwan bi oda chiyan da bita neslegi ashon chiletat enegi do le an khaman hastan da hilagi bita hallo ya etole ayidego altsison khalchindo anida be lada skinlo de shinlo be stkaya hot etol danosom chuka dischi de enle anle nda ini hoda to ya ajul to chiyan skinlo ala to khamana hastani lai to skinlo do yilaro hot end don khayat etan den jono khano de danse eshebe nasko ben ishat esto lelo altsiso benandlesh chila ananti altsiso da allada jada allada belasana bedol gazal nido da abone anito nantihoda ebe naskon jono inaltra ebe jono nek edan lenigido nesin zenigi ben khaya hot eto ana nishinde hote eshibe na nishida hos ato be not enigi eto hoto oho be nasko de no katol heoto life lesson dole. A few of the week's accomplishments ni non-nation janadal ya nenegi. Child care centers across the Navajo Nation carry out cultural activities with toddlers and children. These activities range from developing social and fine motor skills to teaching children how to count, recite words in Navajo. Children are being taught manners like how to cover their mouths when they cough and how to work together nicely. Staff are teaching the children how to vocalize and speak in complete sentences, sing and speak in the Navajo language, read, count, hygiene, proper nutrition, and learn about the different seasons. Tishi hojonle denebeke of ka alchinias anina ganigi no seligi at in the child care centers no denebeke of ka hoto anot anigi do dano seligi beshasnahan now hodo the neck etche sad what jihigi do dit o jinni do yat to heha hoda hot enigi do hajot the nesdis sendo alkhan acha hot enigi aroda stel koso da ha shi os del costa le nacho ya hoji to the nebets anjo da del kosle ado hajot yat keigida hot enigi kalchin den kendo bashil hojo hodo beshel na hon now adon jono the neck etchada dit o sa the jinni alada yagodot is basest ugi a heha nazbas the chi na that enigi hot enigi ton led neck etchada ul khaigida asla anaki tra doj yanda what jihigida hot on ka alchendo le sahona ho nilchi sahona ho na niligida hot oda kalchin yin den tkenigi bashal khojon besh na hon hedo le aroshil to khada okis kalchindo balchinda ze chiniers ba khayado mado jadashi na nishten da krogo hot on hina nishdal enigi alchiniers hanot anigi bich yat honda not tkenigi hehen kedini do le I signed legislation to amend the tobacco products tax and enact the electronic smoking products tax. This year, hojo le kushi skandan le sheshlas anigi le behez ani be la aslim. This year besh behez ani indi jedo eta is nil do di kad the nebe nant abich hodo nil do ye la do le ta danzo ebe la asligi in le zil nat wal yahigi khajo aj the neda nda alt oda ai yisi aj pa yat etole no si pa nahat do ben yada tsnaho de zito be ha si the neda be bikin nada gati zil nat enigi del zindo ba khu ilyago ben in nach di ho nal sos khad lyagi kad nebe ke ba ka de kui goshim belakan nat dai gado ha ishida betal khado ben nach ist har do hajo da yos sendo da ben nach eden delt otele no da jo khodo ishi pesh ma has ando shis zinigi is yego da no sendo da hasya nenigi ebe ban sa keso khadliya ado olto nan kinda bedal khan hit ola dida peso da nal sos khadliagi peso be to lege enal khan to le di kad ani be khastigi belagan dot odo nat orge hote hi lagi ekad enal khan bahel nenigi teholiya eshi hot o nat ot nebe ke ka to zilnat hot ehgi Ishim Bahelinigi Teholiado Inal Trabol Trag a hot end and live Inal Traya Nahin Dehigi the Neba Washington Bethnia Nahin Dehigi Ebe at the neck etchen Naharado the neck etcher Hajo Banzaha Kies neck etchen Jono the Neba Kado Watligi Aj Beso hin Datalis hot Ocean Kehatrali Don Kedene Ye da Anigi Eda Kedene si Yego the Neba Keba Ka Ye in that Jatalis Noya hot o behes Ani Hadalia hot ishiba hot no sendele le shis at the ne nut o belagan ben nut o nade ni sni ota bahelenigi tehot zado le ishibidi nache tehot zaigi enal tran o le enal tran ya nahin tehgi hodot neba Washington nke hat khasi be khadil wolto le at neba keba khad ad nantin be da holor ishi da bit at this anigi bin nache da yan sida kc hot on belagana benat ota yichin da het jaigi be khado was no ye hot o be has ani be la asli Tishi hojo be nasko yi katolil nka ol il nka za the nebe ni tlenigi jo ade ani nan hanot anigi do ani nana kahegi eshi hodo ani khat no dibe behez ani be la asli de lecho she hodo be sizin the nenni tlenigi do ben he ol in ligat kushi nezet din khar din de nezet din chen he etel din hunde hode dishchine be da honi tlodon ke zar be yadel tkegi etan de nil zeno she edi nkalchen na da no selgi ya hoda nozi ni hat nila de nebe Washington aj benant an lenigin ke desseno she ebni di la slila khat no do le e she to ba hoda no senel ebe do le to she edo de nebe bat e ho hat nida di she la ba hellenigi te hot zar ayun lahon chi hoda di en khansi kesot di jodi nani zenigi khodo ne atne zil benat aj be tsohd zindo ben khaya hot egi ai yese hot enigi innat ayat etulil noye arodi peso ya nahin tehegi de nebe beka ye dolil khat khali be noye hoto behes ani be la asli don le de kuigoshi de nedan lenigi yin dasneshigi he dolil Said ode da bata ennisto saida besbahas anda da is niligi dole si shillo be la asli I signed legislation approving $4.9 million from the UUFB for the Hogback pumping station to rebuild the project and $104,000 to rehabilitate the Chinle Valley irrigation well. Ishihodo behez ani sto Hanadel yado peso babaja al yado be la asli $4.9 million Asta ashlat the mil nsa honne la dibe la aznege enle hogback holiede le naho konstro den le tro higa hoke da hat enigim le khoda hayilt odo yin anneston le tak eta yich huil enigi yichon kushina khechen da ikon di yego yichon igin khalt edo nil no le asana khayedam sheik khego khoda nek trote ke da hat enigi do tron lenigi yiga hada le nat ani nej da si yeg het ola di tak eto hot enigi nan shitel enigi kedin sendon le ke nal klonshi da halonigi Ettennet ochit ola adil rosmayenstke achola beson kitche honle aro da kischen da hosil ne joy beswa sa ane aro na rahigido ye na sos khedi lagi chairman Rick Nez hoto ni kischen sil ne sto de nele ke da hat enigi jono bach edo lil kashi beso be lazlin do be na nisto le kushina de zeroshin jonoch enal yarle aron le thoda asi yego bitte hoslin da don le dak etabeta de donish ba hol jejo ekan jono don na hot pump station enal yarle aroto abo honne ani don nezet tin ba tin de mil yaj honne la alto anle chin lead de nekeda hat enigi esto ahonanat be bekado wala no ebe horo de nebe Washington be jedo be lasli eshib ba khoda no sendele kedak et hollanigin khansa kesade khansis kes do ahwejit yo nan hoda not enigi kayap kedan not do kayap in dal nishigi do dira chiyan khaman hastan enada dil nil na da enigi cheshiyan anes kanada hot enigi danit in hot en tro da ba do tro bje na hot tro ke kayap ka dan lenigi da do nene ajo tro biga ha ke da not enigi eshi hoto al channel yadle do khado le khojen da hosne do kenan ta he khit ora anle to yado horo be hanaste be hol jeshin le besh ma hasan juno naltsos da yonnil to she khodo be la de shlel to khodo shada enishgi tanel no eskilna anisho eti to yat na nishna nal yanso kushinna de zero hajol el yago horoshi benkel jina hotesh I attended the groundbreaking of the Crystal Boarding School. Crystal Boarding School is one of the oldest schools on the Navajo Nation. It was first built in 1935 during President Roosevelt's New Deal. Le hanado kato ultra beton nishka nenegi dishigat stadat in nezetina nit andem Crystal Boarding School. No hoto an needing natot alto dishikan stada zinna din nache doba beta enisto an needing dot altikan old khas anigi le piyito sido yahot do bahat sido has anigi do le bakaut and da altehigin de on den wodo le behos kasdo behos dohigin de don dal nishta no be shalnahan tishi horokan njgono bit don nish no diga de kushi ultra benant atan lenigido cheneshti dan nada nembigido jodi de neba Washington be ultra igi needin nat agi ban kilta hojo dikana yese kushina khebta inni shedi khodo shikodi nido ta dish neshada di ultra da bechena hot igi yego het oder besinda dil nishto kushigan beta inni grease wood in there hote ekanaita beta inni stonle many farms hodina go beta nish no dik at stage hato kato dik at crystal boarding school and needing nadot as no ban kilta hojo di bekhanast di to na nishto stage ha kha ho to it only ultra needing nadot as lebeninache the nenda dos nishbeninache ohido to beninache hon kedene har shindal neshen hoden khan nada hido ka nkikeya baka ndaz nishto beninache ikedan lenigida khena da hat edul no di in ultra needing yat ehinit ahagi to ban kilta hojo eshin jono stage khade kado be nasko nani katolik no hehan kedinil donli crystal boarding school bandas nishgido nat ani danaslnigi hehan kedinidol so yego yat eho benash nishto nasko besnani khanle kushin asar nana khego yat eho nit ban kilta hojo beninache nkhalshina da ostkadol beninache so yego nada hoidol no ye be bashal hojo ad stage ha kado khahol jizdol ad. I recently traveled to Washington to advocate for the swift passage of key water rights legislation for the Navajo Nation. I met with Senators Mark Kelly and Ben Ray Lujan and Representatives Greg Stanton, Eli Crane, and to urge them to schedule markup hearings by early December. The three bills, the Northeastern Arizona Indian Water Rights Settlement Act, the Navajo Gallup Water Supply Amendments Act, the Rio San Jose Water Rights Settlement, are crucial to the long-term water success for Navajos in Arizona and New Mexico. These bills offer a historic opportunity to address water security and improve the health of economic well-being and the future of our Navajo people. Le atande Washington de nashande le aye wan te wan kinahal grede de quivishi not ani dan Lenigi Mark Kelly, Ben Ray Lujan, Greg Stanton, Eli Crane, Siskamani da di hoje be khanast di kana si yego bich holjish to kha lahot enegi nat ani ta naten pinda di be landa to se jodi hodo astra de mil so 6 billion honel na bahoto lehlo de nebich hoto nilto yegon kitchen na hot egi dad no sindikana ade holjish kushi to mo na to tleslo lahot enegi nat ani ya na do khato lahot enegi be shadin hot oben and ya na do ta to kha honneta di hodo ben kha to cha no ade benye de nebanna in shkande do de na si yego de ke ob ka thobich na hot egi hoto adena shande etande hot ende etande jono beskillen da hausne an keda nit ot shdo niro besh khaya hot ad nan stad only ishi adenat ani dan lenige ye hon de hon arshi a khillen da hasne ashi ebe nasko hol jisto le. The Department of Agriculture and Navajo Land Commission will present to relatives living on the MPL about the grazing permit reassurance. De hodo the bebenal sauce ba wint inigi le tenen nache das nado kade nat an nadahito ne oze to the nehwa sa hasle kaya kha achwa ne ke da inigi ahot en kade the bebenal sauce kan kichi hunda dol nil to ben da sauce soze ikan de kui go shinka besenta hito ato oho ato beninachidito nal tlonshi dabke test indo kaya dabke test igi eshinga le nasto hode shizo hodo hanne da be kitchena hode shlis hot ende de bebenal sauce kitchen hunda dol nesli ikabita des nesto bit einni shote Eshibe, Njonodo le, on the next Thursday, Horoshi, Nikichi hanades to ben na nishil nade liado di benada inishigi hanenigi be horo the mo na outlet nissan sa yada egi ben nikit nahash negido hodon kinan an stinigi lo hehan kidini yu da hil tsero awasle be dan dashadoni awasle be yegon khant na khayan kidon khana ho ajo deneban an denigi natso da dil zenot dashato noda be khaya hot eshibe hehan kidini dole to khodoshi Dr. Boo Nygren next Thursday nada dole hagone yat shikedos arkhada kisigi.
Sweet morning light touches the eastern sky as I'm standing on this reservation road. Been looking forward to this day. Okay, good morning, or good afternoon. Hey, Shay, I apologize, really bright here. My name is Sonia Nez. I am the department manager for the Navajo Nation broadband office. Tanja kidin the schlingo, toya dlini bashichin aro, tanasani da shichedo, kia ani da shinala, aro chin lina e nasha. And again, as I said, I'm the department manager for the Navajo Nation broadband office. And it's an office that started about 2 years ago, and we oversee all things broadband on the Navajo Nation. And right now we're working on planning and putting out RFPs and hiring the folks to do the work. And so we are, that's what we do. So I want to talk quickly about the E-rate program. After I'm done here, I'm going to introduce Bernardo Portilla, and he's going to be doing he's hired by the president's office to help the broadband office and to help with the broadband plan. We want to get to a data-driven approach, and so he's got a lot of engineering folks and his whole team there really helped the broadband office, and very happy with what his team is doing to help the Navajo Nation the Navajo people get broadband internet to their homes. And so quickly, I want to talk about the E-rate program. The E-rate program is for education, schools, libraries, that type of thing. And so what the federal government does is they'll pay for a huge chunk of the fiber costs, and then also the monthly recurring costs. And so we were able to apply for that grant. The Navajo Nation did, and right now, to date, we have 55 chapters of the 110 chapters that are connected to E-rate. And so the other 55, because of permitting and right-of-way, we're having to rebid those out and get those connected going forward in the next year. And so, but in the interim, we have a plan that we're working on, and I'll let Bernardo talk a little bit more on that. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say on the E-rate part. And now I want to go ahead and turn it over to Bernardo so he can talk about more of the broadband plan, BEAD, and all the different things that's happening with the nation. So go ahead, Bernardo.
Thank you, Sonia, so much. I have a little presentation prepared, but I'm not sure how to share it with everybody, so I'm going to try just to go over that presentation. As Sonia mentioned, we're part of the Navajo Nation Digital Equity Initiative plan, which is kind of a Navajo Nation broadband plan for the people, right? Our main objective is to ensure the digital equity and foster economic development, creating opportunities for Navajo people through the kind of the implementation and deployment of broadband. So what we're going to go about is I'm not going to go through all the presentation. We have seen that before, but I would like to do some updates on BEAD, current ongoing work related to E-rate and a temporary solution that the team has come out with, the results of a recent RFP for fixed wireless access for DIT, some of the support that we're doing for telecom regulations, working really close or supporting really close to the land department and DNR, and the current overall status of the plan. So let's start with the BEAD. Right now, if everybody remembers, BEAD is a federal initiative that is proposing to connect the Navajo households and the community anchor institutions to the internet. The program is not only for Navajo, it's for the whole United States, but what we care about Navajo is the program is managed by the three states, the state of Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. In this initiative, we've been working with these three states, the state entities, OBE, ACA, and the Utah Broadband team, in order to help defining the project, defining the process, and defining the program. And the biggest on the last month of October and November, we have accomplished something really really significant. In Arizona, the state of Arizona only identified 8,000 households eligible to provide connectivity to the internet, right? Due to our working really close with different Navajo entities and the state entities, we've been reclaiming additional BSLs, and so far we have a little bit over 20,000, which in terms of funding, the initial funding for Navajo was around $40 million. We're hoping to get over 120. So that's a claiming $80 million that will be going to the Navajo area for deployment of broadband. So this is a huge endeavor in which working together with the administration, the leadership, the different entities such as the Broadband Office, the NTRC, and in conjunction with the state, NTIA and FCC have been able to, working together, have been able to reclaim this, and of course with the participation of the service providers. In terms of the same effort, but in the area of New Mexico, the state of New Mexico has only identified about 515 BSLs that are eligible for funding. We're in the process, a little bit more difficult than Arizona, but we're in the process of claiming another 6,000, which in terms of funding, we're probably going to get an additional $40 million for funding to the Navajo people. Again, this process is a little bit more difficult, but we're working on it. Okay. In addition, for BEAD, something very important. As you know, the Navajo Nation Broadband Office is not a service provider, but we are working to make sure the broadband is developed and deployed accordingly to national standards in the Navajo Nation. So for that reason, the Navajo Nation made a decision to pre-qualify for the funding, in which the Navajo Nation could be an applicant, but we're going to be working really close with service provider on how to do the implementation of broadband. So that is something very important. The team is working really hard on trying to get the pre-qualification. The deadline for the pre-qualification is tomorrow. So we literally are going through the process is very complex, but we're hoping we're gonna do it. We're not hoping, we're gonna do it. Okay. The next updates that we're gonna do is kind of related to E-rate. As Sonia was explaining, the E-rate is this educational program that is the intention is to interconnect libraries, schools, Head Starts, any kind of all these entities that are related with education, to connect it to the internet and broadband. In right now, there is about 50, a little bit over 50% of the chapters connected. Due to issues about some like cost and implementation delays due to regulatory issues, permitting right away, access, assessment, we're trying to work on an interim solution that it will be able to interconnect all the chapters. So we're working on that one, and we hopefully by the end of the year, before the end of the year, we can have some breaking news about it. Right over once again, we're having about 50 chapters that are not connected, and we're going to be trying to connect it now. Okay, that's a major upgrade. In terms of another accomplishment, we completed an RFP for a fixed wireless network that will serve the DIT, the Department of Information Technology, in the areas of San Michael, Sebonito, and Fort Defiance. With this, we're going to be able to uh, do a lot of cost savings because we can distribute the internet to about 32 locations. They don't have to pay on site basis. We're hoping to get this solution implemented by sometimes in March. The only thing that's holding us up is the access to the funding. As you remember, the ARPA funding for broadband was converted to general funding. So we're in that process to being able to spend that money. And as I say, we're hoping that it happens really soon. Major accomplishment as well during this time is the regulatory collaboration. The team is working really hard with land department, GLAD, DNR, DOJ, and RDC in order to provide suggestions for the transformation of the regulatory environment. So we're very, very happy on the progress that has been done. Um, we have the land department on the implementation of the recommendation regulatory has been following the notice of public rulemaking. So we have a lot of comments. Pretty much all the comments from carriers, the stakeholders, participants, community, and different entities have been addressed. They have been tracked. There is a way to access to all the comments and the response to the comments. So we're following the process. There has been two carriers workshops, one in October 14 and the other one October 21st. And we're expecting by the end of November to have land department to release the final draft for review by DOJ and a further review by RDC. Um, Really interesting developments on that sense. We're working on a Navajo Nation broadband utility corridor, which will allow for a quick deployment of telecom infrastructure in the Navajo Nation. As I said, we're working really hard on that science. Updates on the big Navajo broadband plan, the Navajo People's Plan, is we have an RFP ongoing. There's an RFP for construction of 78 towers that will allow the implementation, will serve as the foundation for the big project initially, but also it will serve the foundation for future 5G development in the area. The RFP is due by the end of the year, but we are trying to see because we're working on some other details in terms of funding. It might be a little bit extended a little bit more. We're just trying to work with the best product that we can. Right now, we have, as per recommendation from the meetings with the RDC, we took a really good recommendation from them. We divided the project in two phases. Phase one is we're going to be implementing 36 towers initially because we have secured the funding, and the funding for the remaining towers is going to be done on phase two, which is we're working to obtain. Just for your information, the full plan calls for the implementation of 70 multi-tenant towers, which means towers that could hold several service providers, including public safety, because it's very, very important. As President Nygren said, with the issues with the winter, we really need to make sure our public safety personnel has the best communication possible. And we know that right now we are lacking of that, but we're hoping with this plan we're going to be able to improve it. As mentioned, the plan calls for 78 towers and about 1,500 miles of fiber that will be connected to existing and new towers and to the chapter houses. And the total cost of the plan is 271 million. For that, we have secured about close to 80 million that we have secured, and that's what we're going to be spending on phase one. And that's it. I know we are running out of time, so thank you so much for this one. And if you have any question, please contact Mrs. Sonia Ness. Drop by the Navajo Nation broadband office or the website. Any comments? All the comments are will be heard. Thank you.
Good afternoon. This is Sean Avendale, Division Director for Division General Services. Good afternoon, everybody. Yat e shaestkahasing ta isno tsangi koto e ya hisnata huil net o shile hashin za shenat o kil ashtlata hal jinjit da e ya hisnaho dilni she e ya Sean Avendale yin she to Division of General Services e shata anish ado khunagahni ado na enchle kiyan ani e bashishchin do kinley chini da shit she do trechi da shenelle do yat e kwa shona hot agi kodo e ya hilna da hot dilli na nishona de nil zendo tseshi e ya ahya shenant I Honorable President Dr. Boo Nygren ahya Washington de e ya na do de e khashin tsogo na hat an lenigi ke na kha kote ke honit i de e ya hot نخاطت سليبة أكيه نيتزنه فهاكوشي نيلت إيشي لهاشي نيت إيشي أيهو نخيل إله وتقاو نهنات آني آد نخاطت سلوكو وثي بي إنت شنانت آد كنا هالقيب الخز آد نهيج آل نايش خاطو نخا آد إيا نهجي بأكيه إله كود إيا أتهويليا أتشن أتسوكي أنا لكني كلينيكي كود na nishpiltata anahde eya kode atahuiliao na hasi trako ohia do lech. Ado kon hilchas ando eya kodoshi beta emnishigi e ahon shene ebe hilnao digli. I'd like to provide some short, quick updates on the Division General Services. Again, just a reminder, it's been a couple months since I've been on the stream providing an update, but Division General Services provides services, support services to the central government. We oversee insurance, we oversee the fleet management, we oversee the property facility maintenance. We oversee employee housing, airports. We oversee telecommunication utilities and DIT as well as records management. So those are the programs under the Division of General Services. So some brief notable updates. I guess first of all, the weather's getting cold. We're all aware the weather's getting cold out there. You see frost every morning on your windshield. You see frost on vehicles coming into work. You know that those individuals are running late because they haven't had time to defrost their vehicles. But for the most part, uh, weather's getting cold. Start checking on your elders. The Department of Emergency Management has some good tips from the Division of Public Safety on winter preparedness. So please share that information, assist your grandmas, your grandpas, your nollies, and even your elder parents with winter preparedness. It's going to be cold. It's already cold, so keep in mind that the weather. Sometimes grandma, grandpa may not have anybody to help bring in woods and those type of things. Take the time, take a few moments after work or before work to bring a handful of woods inside for them as the weather gets colder. Moving on, program updates. Airports management. We have some exciting news over at the Navajo Nation Uh, Air Transportation Department. We oversee the Air Transportation Department, the Window Rock Airport, and the flight charter services there. The airport's management is completely separate under Department of Transportation, but from the airport Navajo Air Transportation Services program, we're excited with some new opportunities coming up. Where again, hopefully, we have a vendor on board to maintain and operate our charter services again, resuming here for the central government. Uh, Notable accomplishments this past month is the Gallup Airport was shut down for repaving, and the Window Rock Airport was the alternate landing site for medevacs, for emergency response teams for the state of New Mexico, City Gallup, Rehoboth Healthcare, Gallup Indian Medical Center. So Window Rock was the primary airport serving the GLP uh, airport for about a period of 2 weeks. We saw an increase in air traffic, which helped increase and boost our ability to repair our weather sensors, our lightning sensors. We were able to use it as justification to provide the much needed upgraded services, utility repairs, underground utilities to service the lightning detection was installed. So we've done some great strides there at the Window Rock Airport in anticipating of resuming our charter flight services. Most also coming up with air transportation, the U.S. military will be housing Black Hawk helicopters there within the next coming month. They'll be test firing missiles from Fort Wingate Army Depot. So Black Hawk helicopters will be stationed here in Window Rock Airport, which is exciting for us because it generates revenue for our programs there. Additionally, we are continuing our planning for administration building number 3. Currently, our 2 buildings, the finance building and the community development building, as they're commonly known, we're at capacity and we have a lot of offices that are closing down. So we're looking at building an administration building number 3, and we'll be looking to the Navajo Nation Council, Health, Education, Human Services Committee, the Budget and Finance Committee, the Nabakia Committee, and eventually full council in investing into a new tribal building number 3. Right now, preliminary estimates run from $55 million to $100 million, which is not a outrageously high number, but it's a great investment in as far as real estate and investing in the safety and health of our tribal employees. So that is also coming up. Records management. We recently had discussions with the Navajo Land Department, the offices there, in obtaining an alternative location for our records management department. The Fort Defiance office is in pretty dire shape, where a lot of the records, resolutions, executive orders are stored. We're having water issues over the summer, last winter, electrical issues on the back access panel. So we're having numerous problems. We've been fortunate enough to locate a building in Gamercu, New Mexico, for a short period of time, approximately 2 years, while we expend monies to rebuild the Fort Defiance warehouse with a new foundation and a new exterior metal structure insulated for a warehouse. So we're looking at expending those monies and finally making that a realization for the records management department. We're also planning issuing an RFP here shortly for property across the Window Rock complex where the old BIA housing was located on down to Window Rock Boulevard. We're planning for a multi-use governmental complex. You'd have office buildings, public areas, parking, childcare centers, smaller uh, smaller commercial sites, for gas stations, for convenience stores, coffee shops, those type of things, childcare centers, playgrounds, administration buildings, walking paths. we're looking at developing that right across the street. So we're diligently working here to improve the operation of our government, looking for additional office space. We have additional temporary spaces coming into the Winter Rock area to accommodate our employees. We have a lot of work to do and a lot of work to go, but with the cooperation of all the department managers, all the division directors, and with the assistance of the Office of the President, hopefully we're moving forward in the right direction and addressing a lot of these issues. And we appreciate all the support from the President's office as well as from the all the other divisions here under the Navajo Nation, as well as our council delegates, the honorable council delegates. We appreciate all the support we've gotten so far, but there's plenty of work to do, and that will be my update for the this coming live update. We'll see you here December 19th again with update from Division of General Services. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Effie Ed City. I'm the Executive Director for the Office of the Navajo Tax Commission. I am a Kia'ani born for Topahan. I'm coming from Nashville, New Mexico. And so for my report this month, I'm going to go over the numbers that we have collected so far. As of October 1st, 2025, we went into the new fiscal year. So my numbers are going to be from October 1st on. And so the first quarter for the fiscal year would be October, November, and December of 2024. And so we went through our collections, and so I'm reporting on all 9 of our taxes. So the total for first quarter of fiscal year 2024, we're 44 days in. So far, we have collected $16,017,667, and that's all of our taxes collectively, all 9 of them. As I mentioned before, we are 44 days into the quarter. We still had about a good month and a half to collect taxes for this quarter. Our general funds deposit for this first quarter was $8,795,014 so far. So the general funds, this consists of half of the non-retail sales tax collected, all of our tobacco products tax, all of our possessory interest tax, oil and severance tax, and the business activity tax. So everything, 100% of those collections goes into the general funds, and half of the non-retail sales tax. And right now that's sitting at $8.7 million. Our overall projections for the entire fiscal year of 2025 is $131 million. So far we've collected about 12% of that projection. I am pretty optimistic that we will hit our mark again this coming year. It may be a little bit more of a challenge due to, I am anticipating that the chapters and departments and Navajo Nation government is going to push on the ARPA funds and start construction projects, right-of-ways, water, utilities. Once we get those construction projects off the ground and the payments start rolling in for those, that will definitely increase our tax revenue collections. So I'm going to go through each one of our taxes. So the sales tax, non-retail, we collected at $9,854,000. Our tobacco products tax, we collected $1,686. Possessory interest tax, we are sitting at $3,761,174. Oil and severance, so far we brought in $30,500. Business activity tax, we're at $74,000. Our fuel excise tax, $1,123,173. Hotel occupancy tax, $381,000. our retail sales tax. Now, this is going to be our brick and mortar stores, our convenience stores, grocery stores, that those type of establishments. We brought in $713,000. Junk food tax, we're at $67,000. And alcohol tax, we brought in $10,321. So that brings our total collection so far. Again, this is only 44 days into the quarter. We brought in $16,017,667. So we're doing very well. That is 12% of our projection for this coming year. So I'm pretty optimistic we're going to hit our mark. And those are the updates on our revenue collection. So just to note some tax due dates coming up. So half of our possessory interest tax were due actually on November 1st. The second half is due May 1st. So if you have not gotten your possessory interest tax payments and returns into the mail, drop it in as soon as you can. We do assess for late filing and late payment penalties, and we also assess for interest. So you want to make sure you want to get that payment in the mailbox as soon as possible. We have the sales tax, the junk food tax, business activity tax are all due tomorrow, November 15, and this is going to be for third quarter. Our September oil and severance is due to our office tomorrow, also on November 15. The last one is going to be the tobacco products tax is due to our office tomorrow also, and that's going to be for an October reporting. Our October fuels tax is due September 20th, and that's next week. You want to make sure you want to get out the returns and the payments postmarked definitely by November 15. And for the fuel excise tax payers, for the distributors, please email your reports to our office. Our email address is nnontc.tax.org. So make sure you get those electronically sent to our office by email. Let me see, what else do I have? A couple of other things to mention. Sales tax filings. Taxpayers are responsible for filing and paying the taxes to our office. We have 9 taxes. If you need assistance, please reach out to my office. Phone number 928-871-6681 to speak to a compliance officer, and we'll get you all set up. We'll get you the forms, the statutes and the regulations and whatever pertains to your particular business activity and what you'll be responsible for. I have a really solid tax compliance team that'll be able to help you. Some items that we had, just some notable items really quick here. I know I'm running out of time. Tobacco products tax was signed, the legislation was signed into law November 8, last Friday by President Nygren. Thank you, President, for signing off on this legislation. This particular legislation increased tobacco products tax rates across the board, but in addition to that, it introduced a new tax, the nicotine and electronic smoking devices tax. Now, besides the fact that he signed it into law, we still have a lot of work to do behind the scenes, we need to draft some policies and procedures, get the forms ready, get the accounts ready, and we are still working on securing an effective date for that. So thank you to Dr. Nygren and also to Honorable Delegate Slater for working very hard on this, along with the health advocacy groups. We all appreciate all of the help and your hard work that had gone into getting this legislation off the ground. There's a couple of items that I'm working on. Of course, the solar tax that we've had been talking about for about a year. I'm still working out the details on that and trying to get that ironed out. I'll be revising some tax statutes and regulations. We have a couple of vacancies open at ONTC if you're interested in working for me in the great department. And for the Navajo Nation, I have 2 tax compliance officer positions and 1 tax auditor position open. And last but not least, I want to say thank you to my tax team up in Navajo Tax Commission. They come in, work very diligently, very hard every day. Thank you for your commitment to the department and to the Navajo Nation. Administrative staff, I have Elisa and Chastity. Thank you for all of the hard work you do. My accounting team, Stan and Tynea, thank you. Auditors, Lawrence, Laverne, Regina, and Edward, thank you so much. Compliance team, Cheryl, Cynthia, Denisha, and Zathina, thank you. And I have my two very faithful temporary workers, Emily and Tanisha. Thank you for all of your hard work. Okay, that is my report for this month. So thank you, and everyone have a great day. Thank you.
When the music stops, I'll walk you to your door. You say